As Ashley dies in Emmerdale, the 10 most heartbreaking soap deaths. You would need a heart of stone to have got through this week in the soaps without shedding a tear. The end has finally arrived for Emmerdale's erstwhile vicar Ashley Thomas, as he lost his emotional battle with dementia. Soapland has seen its fair share of heartbreaking deaths over the years, and here are 10 of the most devastating. Ashley Thomas, Emmerdale. Back in October 2015, Ashley Thomas was told that he was showing the early signs of dementia. It has been an emotional journey since then as he succumbed to the illness. It has been one of the most challenging storylines in the soap's history, and when he finally passed away, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Peggy Mitchell, EastEnders. The passing of Peggy was always going to be a big deal in Albert Square, and so it proved to be, with almost half the viewing public at the time tuning in to see her final moments. After hallucinating that she was chatting with her old friend and foe, Pat Butcher, Peggy then took a lethal overdose of pills. It left Phil Mitchell a broken man and had viewers reaching for the tissues. Hayley Cropper, Coronation Street. Has there been a sadder death in soap history? Terminal pancreatic cancer was the diagnosis, and Hayley's demise was in the arms of her husband Roy after drinking a fatal cocktail, as the lark ascending by Voff Williams filled the air. The performance deservedly garnered many awards, and it goes down as the benchmark for which all heartbreaking soap deaths will be compared to. Jade Albright, Hollyoaks. Hollyoaks has had a history of not shying away from difficult subjects, and schoolgirl Jade Albright battling cancer was one such storyline. When she was admitted to hospital, she pointed out a lump on her neck and her life was changed forever. In her final hours, she laid in the arms of Alfie as they imagined the places they would have liked to have been before her life slipped away in one of the soap's most tenderest moments. Jackson Walsh, Emmerdale. Before Robro was a thing, there was Jackson and Oren. Back in 2010, Jackson came into Oren's life, which helped him to embrace his sexuality. But after Jackson was involved in an accident that saw his crashed van hit by a train, he was left as a quadriplegic. It is fair to say that Jackson stayed feisty and defiant, but there came a time when he didn't want to live like that anymore and asked Oren and his mum to end his life. When his mother, Hazel, couldn't bring herself to give her son the lethal concoction of pills, Oren did so. At the funeral though, there was an emotional video message from Jackson exonerating the pair. Maddie Heath, Coronation Street. Maddie had a tempestuous time in Corrie, from the moment she shoved Sally Webster's head in a trifle at the soup kitchen, to the test time that she discovered Jenny Bradley trying to kidnap Kevin's son, Jack. After surviving the underworld minibus crash, the 18-year-old was not so lucky after a fire at Carla's flat spread and Maddie was caught in the resulting explosion when the builder's yard went up. Girlfriend Sophie was distraught and there were tears at home with viewers too. Roxy and Ronnie Mitchell, EastEnders. The deaths of Roxy and Ronnie Mitchell were the manner in which the folks at EastEnders welcomed the new year in. After getting increasingly more worse for wear on alcohol in the aftermath of Ronnie's wedding, Roxy decided to jump into the hotel swimming pool for a bit of fun. She lost consciousness almost immediately and sunk to the bottom, prompting Ronnie to jump in to try and save her. Unfortunately, the weight of her wedding dress meant that Ronnie was also dragged down and the sisters were tragically drowned. Max Cunningham, Hollyoaks. Another wedding day demise put paid to Max Cunningham in Hollyoaks. After concluding nuptials with Steph, he saw young Tom in the path of a speeding Isle, who was making a quick getaway after seeing the woman he loved marry another. Diving to save Tom, Max was hit by the car and in emotional scenes, his life slipped away as best friend Ab tried to keep Max in this world. Ruby Haswell, Emmerdale. When Debbie Dingle looked to tie the knot with Pete Barton, the wedding was going to go off with a bang. What they didn't expect though, was a helicopter to come crashing through the roof of the village hall. Val Pollard may have been the headline casualty in the aftermath, but it was the passing of Ruby Haswell that tugged at the heartstrings, as Dan and Kerry's efforts to save her came to nothing. Kylie Platt, Coronation Street. Probably the most dramatic and heart-wrenching death in soap history was the killing of Kylie Platt. Her fatal stabbing outside Corrie's kebab shop had been heavily trailed as a must-see soap moment, but who could have expected it to be quite so tear-inducing? David Platt is a character that you struggle to have much sympathy for, but seeing him sat in the road with Kylie dying in his arms was one of Weatherfield's most iconic moments.